So here's a sort of philosophical question that I'm probably going to botch articulating. But so it seems like Buddha nature posits a fundamentally positive view of the world, right? Or of existence. Like we're primordially pure, and therefore enlightenment is possible. And in another formulation, it seems maybe early Buddhism, where reality is my mind is not pure, and I have to transform my mind into purity. And then the philosophical problem that raises is that my enlightenment then, or my nirvana, my state of nirvana, is produced through activity. Mm-hmm. So could you speak a little bit about, so Buddha nature in a way is accused of raising all sorts of problems, but in a sense it solves a problem of having to produce enlightenment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that's why my definition of Buddha nature is, the nature of mind that enables the actualization of Buddhahood. So if it, like you said, if becoming a Buddha was something produced, if it was a product, then it has to be impermanent. A Buddhist, one of the four, axioms of, whatever is conditioned is impermanent. One of the three characteristics of the Buddha's teaching. So, in order to kind of account for the possibility, not just the possibility, but the actuality of awakening, then, in some sense, that potential has to be present in sentient beings. So I think you're exactly right that this notion solves a problem, and I think of the first turning as really dealing with just samsara and not really theorizing nirvana. And so, yes, samsara is suffering. Yes, conditioned things are impermanent. Yes, there is no self in the aggregates, but the alternative isn't really articulated in the sense of nirvana. It's just, don't talk about nirvana. It's, maybe because it's not helpful to talk about it. It's more helpful just to get along with the business of kind of removing suffering. But the notion of Buddha nature, and again, it doesn't have to be a real presence in order to be the potential for becoming a Buddha. It could also just be the emptiness of the nature of mind that allows for the current situation of mind not to be kind of having any kind of lasting, enduring, independent essence. It's malleable. There's potential for transformation. So even for traditions for which emptiness is really the actual meaning of Buddha nature, whereas some traditions say that emptiness is just taught just to kind of clear the way of mistaken ideas and misunderstandings about reality in order to finally understand what's really real is Buddha nature. There's other traditions that just flip that hierarchy and will say, well, it's actually that Buddha nature is as it is explicitly taught in terms of the qualities of the Buddha being present in any way at the stage of a sentient being. That's just for people who can't handle emptiness, which is much more in tune with, or what is the ultimate truth that is liberating. Buddha nature is, in that sense, is provisional as opposed to the real meaning, the definitive meaning. But even in that sense, in both of those senses, the Buddha nature, whether it's understood as emptiness or whether it's understood as something more than the lack of intrinsic existence of the mind, it is important for both of those models. And what I have in mind is the Gelug, as Kedrupje in particular, since Tsongkhapa doesn't explicitly get into this, but Kedrupje does, as opposed to Dolpopa in the Jonang tradition. For both of those traditions, Buddha nature is important to account for an alternative to samsara. And Mipam is also, in some ways, integrating those two traditions in this presence and absence, if that's the language we want to think about these two alternatives, and saying, well, emptiness really isn't different from Buddha nature. These are actually aspects of, or dimensions of the same basic nature or principle. And so, this is another way to bring these together. But it's also an important way to account for nirvana, or for existence that is not simply mired in the web of samsara.